off by mentioning that the Cowboys receivers are getting open. Then Alan Hearns took it a step further by taking a shot at the play calling. Despite all of that, Ezekiel Elliott says there is no blame game happening in the locker room after blowing a winnable game.
I mean, there hasn't been any finger pointed at all. You know what I mean? I mean, even when, as an offense, we struggled this year. And when we go over to defense, like, hey, we're sorry. We didn't hold up our end. You know what I mean? There's more. No, we need to do more. You know what I mean? We need to go out there and win that game. You guys don't have to go out there and win it. We were in a position to go out there and win it. So, I mean, there's enough accountability in this locker room, and that, there's not going to be any finger pointing. The guy that may get pointed out is going to say, hey, that's on me. I up. You're not going to need anyone to go over and say, hey, you need to get your together.
By the way, he's saying there's no finger pointing. There's been a lot of finger pointing. Cole Beasley, Alan Hearns.
Right.
Getting nothing but finger pointing.
Well, he's saying that is, I guess, is happening publicly. It's not happening in the locker room. So maybe it should be happening in the locker room instead of it being public, or at least those conversations should be happening in the locker room. Yeah. He's coming off a 54-yard performance, which is the third fewest yards in his career. What is wrong with the Cowboys?
Well, let's be honest. Winning solves everything in all sports. I mean, if you win... I mean, if the Warriors are the happiest team in the NBA after the championship, and they smile and they dance and they go to their Instagrams because they win. And LeBron James was very, very happy when he wins. And then he loses to the Warriors, and he said, I'm going to go to another city and play. You got to win games. That's, I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, why aren't they winning games is the problem.
Well,
like, it's just really, when you look at it, it's really bizarre, the step down that Dak and Zeke together have taken from their rookie year. Last year was kind of a pass. Yeah, kind of gave everybody a pass last year.
I didn't like Dak coming out of college. And then after the first year, I had to say, okay, like his numbers are incredible. It was the perfect storm. Offensive line was the best in football and healthy. Zeke, nobody'd seen him. Dez, Jason Witten. It was the perfect storm. And I got to be honest with you, I was late to it. I didn't like him out of college. I didn't buy it until about week 5 and went to Green Bay and won.
Or maybe you were right about it.
Well, in the end... I think he is a guy that needs a ton of stuff around him. And in fairness to Dak, because I do think he's a franchise quarterback, I just think he's a lower-end one. In fairness right now, they're terrible at tight end. I mean, they're not good enough at receiver. You don't have to be great at wide receiver. You don't have to be Kansas City. But you can be better than Dallas.
You can be functional.
Like, they got to be better than the Jets and Dallas at wide receiver.
So the phrase "the same old Browns" might not apply to this particular squad, and Baker Mayfield says he knew this team was different than the organization that went 1-31 over the previous 2 years. He says, in fact, he knew the team was special the day he walked into the Browns building. Here is why.
From the people they were putting together in this group, but then also, it's also the belief I've always had in myself. I said it back at the Combine when everybody said I was, a short quarterback that couldn't do much. I said if anybody's going to do it, I believed in myself to do that. And, that's something I've carried with me, and I hope our guys believe in themselves as well.
Where does confidence not get into cockiness?
Got to be your job.
I don't know that the Browns are becoming cocky just yet. I think they have to work on consistent confidence before they get over the arrogant level. But I do feel like this is a different Cleveland Browns.
Oh, they have 3 legitimate running backs. It's a real team. I'll talk about this in a couple of minutes, and Baker Mayfield. But, yeah, I mean, he hasn't been sensational, but the team's really, really good all over the place. Well, they lead the NFL. They don't just lead the NFL in takeaways. They lead it by a wide margin. You watch a Browns game, they're raking the ball out of you. They're picking it off. Like, this is a good football team with a bunch of good players.
I don't know that I necessarily need Baker to be sensational this year. The Browns have been so bad for so long. I think that just establishing a culture change is more important than necessarily going out in there and lighting it up. Just get wins.
I'd like to see him, as long as he's a grown-up, be mature, franchise leader, next 15 years. I know Sam Darnold will be. Just be a grown-up.
Even you have to be happy with his demeanor and the way he's been carrying himself so far.
He's been great. So far, he's been great.
So finally, Sunday night's matchup between the Chiefs and Patriots will feature a battle of different generations of quarterbacks. Many have called Mahomes the future of the quarterback position, considering how his arm is and his playmaking ability. And Brady, at least according to me, fired a couple shots about how the position is changing. But Mahomes says that he did learn a little something from Brady.
I definitely watched a good amount of him in college. Coach Kingsbury actually played with Tom at one point, and so he liked to show me some things that he did where he's in the pocket and his pocket movements and stuff like that. And so I've definitely taken some things from him But, I mean, he does it at such a high level, and it's something that you have to strive to be like. When you have that much success, I mean, it takes a bunch of hard work, so you respect that.
I do like to hear from a young quarterback that he shaped his game after Brady.
He looks young, doesn't he?
He does look young.
Like, there's guys that are young. Ben Roethlisberger looked older when he was young. Like, Patrick Mahomes he's going to look like that when he's like 38.
Looks like he came into the league at 35. Yeah, no, he does look young. I'm so excited for this game.
Oh, it'd be great. Very, very good NFL weekend. And by the way, the game tonight's going to be great.
Yes.
It's a rivalry game. You're going to get big stars. Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia, which is still the best team in their division. I still think they win 10 games. They win their division, but they got to get their act together. Tonight's a big star game. Carson Wentz, Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley, massive rivalry. NFC East is a great game tonight.
Yes.
Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
By the way, yesterday on our show, a very unfortunate moment on the show. I thought it bordered on unprofessional when our college football guy, Joel Klatt, came on wearing a uniform. I don't know if I'm going to let him back on the show. This was the moment. Roll the tape if you could. I didn't sleep well last night. You're such an obnoxious...
Yeah, buddy. How was last Sunday? What's up?
Oh, a bunch of field goals.
Hey, 2 wins. What? 2 more wins than they had in 600 previous days. Guess what Mayfield has? Cop video, junk, and 2 wins. Bang.
Very obnoxious. I'm not into message boards, Twitter. Here's what you need to know about the Cleveland Browns. Here's who I pay attention to. And by the way, Baker Mayfield on the internet liked that moment. Here's who I listen to. Vegas. Vegas this weekend has the Chargers, one of their Super Bowl favorites, and the Browns, pretty close to a pick'em. Phillip Rivers is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Joey Bosa, 2 good backs. Pass rush. This is a very good Chargers team. Vegas has Browns-Chargers pretty much a pick'em this weekend. Well, Colin, that's because of Baker Mayfield. No, it's not. Baker Mayfield right now is completing 59% of his throws. By elite standards, that's weak. But Sam Darnold, I don't want to hear about other quarterbacks. The Cleveland Browns, Vegas is telling you, are a coin flip against a Super Bowl dark horse. Baker's passer rating's 81. That's lousy. 3 TDs, 3 picks all year. That's lousy. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's going to be lousy. His current numbers are below average. What about Sam Darnold? We're not talking about Sam Darnold. We're not comparing him to Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield with this roster. Baker Mayfield, just take his name out of it. 58% completion, 81 passer rating, 3 TDs, 3 picks. That quarterback with this Browns roster, Vegas has as a pick'em against the Chargers. The story, what Vegas is telling you is Cleveland's got dudes. They've got 3 legitimate running backs. 3. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, Nick Chubb. They have a stud young pass rusher, Myles Garrett. Jarvis Landry, slot receiver, stud, most targets in the NFL. They have a elite young rookie cornerback. They have a tremendous young tight end. They lead the NFL in takeaways easily. This roster is stacked. And this is what happens. Houston was terrible for years in baseball. And then they get a number 1 pick and a number 1 pick and a number 2 pick and a number 4 pick. And you look up right now and Houston's favored probably to win the World Series. Not the Dodgers and all their money. Not Milwaukee with the best bullpen. Not the Red Sox with the greatest year. It's Houston. Okay, that's what happens. Forget comparing Baker to anything else. Vegas is telling you that a quarterback in a passing league, in a passing year, that's completing 59% of his throws, 81 passer rating, 3 TDs, 3 picks, they're a pick 'em against L.A. That's all you need to know about Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to be way better than those numbers. I think Sam Darnold's going to be way better than his numbers. I think Josh Rosen's going to be way better than his numbers. And I think Lamar Jackson at some point won't come in for 3 plays a game. He'll come in for 60 plays a game. But that tells you all you need to know about Cleveland this year. It's not the Baker Mayfield story. They're overcoming very average quarterback play. The Jets roster stinks. Cleveland's roster, loaded. And they're going to carry Baker Mayfield probably for the entire year. Probably for the entire year. Here's something else I want to talk about. So did you guys see, I said yesterday I wasn't going to talk about Des Bryant anymore. I said, I'm not talking about Des Bryant anymore. Okay, I'm going to have one exception. He started talking about me yesterday. So there's an old rule in the NFL. There's an old rule, an old saying, the tape don't lie. The tape don't lie. Be careful what you put on tape. Des Bryant right now is unemployed and talented still. What has Des Bryant put on tape in the last 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, last year? Remember, in the NFL, the saying is, be careful what you put on tape. The first thing he put on tape is, he can't separate, and he doesn't have an expansive route tree. Everybody can see it. The second thing he put on tape was the Amazon Prime series, where he didn't get along with his wide receiver coach. The third thing he put on tape is he shows up to the Cleveland Browns, headphones, tank top, looks uninterested, nothing's changed, not a grown-up. And the fourth thing he's put on, quote, tape, social media, responding like a child. Yesterday he's firing back at me. Hey, Cowherd, how did they make me in Dallas, sir? You know the Cowboys have had other players. And he swore and stuff, and I won't put that up. Dude, you are exactly where you should be. In the NFL, be careful what you put on tape. You have put 4 things on tape / your resume. You can't separate, and you don't have an expansive route tree. You're a nightmare in the room with your wide receiver coach. You show up to the Cleveland Browns looking like you don't desperately need a job or desperately want a job. That sort of matters. And you also fire back nightly on any criticism. Des, every day, every response is justifying guys like me who are critics. With all your talent, and you can still play, week 6. Week 6. No takers. And that's officially the last time I talk about Des Bryant.
Unless he gets signed with the Patriots.
Okay, we got I got Greg Cosell, I got Chris Broussard, actor, producer, comedian Michael Rappaport's going to scream at me. Did he watch last night? Did he watch LeBronzo? That's around the corner. In LA, it's the Herd.
Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh Ham has no added nitrates.